Hey, everybody, it's Nick from Wonderword, and I want to tell everybody about the Fabella Creator Game Jam 2020. And what this is it's going to be a contest that will help you get published on smart speakers and devices, and also allow you the opportunity to win some cash while creating an intriguing interactive story/game. So let's go through the rules real quick before we get started, because I want to give everybody a little demo of how Fabella works and what's needed to enter. So in this game jam, you will create an interactive game or story that uses speech recognition to control the gameplay and narrative. All kinds of creators are welcome to enter the contest, as the Fabella creator requires no prior coding experience. So just as long as you have an idea, you should be good to go. The contest entries will be featured on our home site, which is poptel.com, and will be displayed in a gallery at the Voice of Gaming conference, which takes place on December 1st, 2021. The entries will then be reviewed by I guess you could say, a jury of our peers, as well as visitors who rate them via the PopTel site. So that's kind of interesting. We'll have people also voting on it, and also having a panel of judges. All games entered into the contest will be considered for a publishing deal with Wonderword. Some of our rules. The first one is the Fabella Game Jam kicks off on the 10th. Currently, it's the 4th. We wanted to give everybody just a little bit of time to really get their ideas brewing. So that's why we wanted to go live today and let everybody know about the contest, so they could go ahead and really hit it hard on the 10th. And it ends on the 25th. And the reason why it ends on the 25th is because what we want to do is we want to give time for everybody to have a chance to vote for their favorites, and also give our judges enough time to go through and actually play the interactive stories, take notes, conduct their own meetup, and figure out which ones they like the best. So you will have about 2 weeks to create an original game/story using the Fabella creator. And access to the Fabella creator will be done via registration on this form that is linked up on the website. And the game must be a minimum of 5 minutes or longer to play, and no longer than 20 minutes. So we want to make sure that we're staying, keeping people's attention, so to speak. Projects will be posted in the gallery within 24 hours of completion. So whenever you complete your story, you will go ahead and you'll send an email to the community@wonderword.net. We will then take that, verify that it is a full story mechanically. We won't change any dialogue or anything like that. We're just going to make sure that it functionally works, and then we will post it to the gallery. So that is essentially the Fabella Creator Contest. So now let's get into a little bit of what Fabella is and how Fabella works. So just so you know, as you've probably heard me say hundreds of times, Fabella is a no-code creating tool. And anybody can pick it up and play with it and design interactive stories/games that can then be not only played on smart speakers, but also played on inside of a web player itself. And soon enough, we'll be broadcasting that out in order to be played on mobile devices as well. So if you're on the Fabella Game Jam website, which I'm going to take this and throw this into the chat for people. You would just simply click sign in. and I already have an account, so it may auto sign me in. And it did. So as you can see, Voice Spark, Alexa, and more up there. And so if you wanted to create a project, the very first thing you do is click Create New Project. Now you want to stay away from the audiobook. That's not us. The audiobook builder is a different thing that is designed primarily for the written long form book industry. It's not designed for short-term choose your own adventure / path games or any sort of audio based game. So what you want to click is interactive audio experience, and then you want to name your project and create project. Once you do that, you'll be taken to a screen that looks similar to this. Got to stay hydrated. Loading. Let's see what happens here. Click the refresh. Here we go. So this is what an Alexa skill. I'll mute my device. I never catch that in time. Can you hear that?
Games, fun, kids, or sounds.
Alexa, turn off. Okay, so inside this is what an actual project would look like inside of Fabella and how it's created. It's very simple, very drop and drag, very node based. So one of the things that I wanted to do, which I was really passionate about, is I have two grandparents that are still alive. My grandfather, who served in the Korean War, and he's about 93 years old. And whenever he was a senior in high school, he created a book called Detective Roger Blaze. And he used watercolors and he made this thing. It's beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I thought to myself, how could I update that for the modern world? How could I allow him to see, his project come to life for others to see? So I decided to design it inside of Fabella. And this is the completed project. Each one of these lines that I created in represents a dialogue and also a display interface that shows a picture, and then a simple question that asks, do you want to turn the next page? So you either say yes or no, and if you say no, it goes over here and it says thanks for listening, and then it shuts off. But if you say yes, you actually go through the entire project all the way down to the end, right over here. And the funny thing about this comic is that he had about 95% of it completed, and I had to ad lib and go back and rewrite the last few lines of dialogue to close out the story. So this is essentially it, and what your project would look like by using Fabella. But I want to kind of give everybody sort of a rundown of the buttons in the interface, because you yourself will be creating and using this creator in order to create your own interactive stories. So up at the top, file, obviously, you have new, open, save. You can load a file. You can export a file. You can invite other people to collaborate with you. So if you wanted to do a combined project. And you also have publish to web player. And we'll get into this a little bit more. But let's say you have your completed project and it's done and you want to show it to the world, and you have your own WordPress or WordPress site. You could do it easily through here. You can add a title, a subtitle, and you can obtain a shareable URL, which will allow people to play this on mobile devices in any web player. And some web players don't have voice recognition through the actual microphone permissions. I know Firefox doesn't, but what we do is we've created buttons. So even if you aren't able to say yes, no, or whatever the options are, you can still touch the screen and interact with the story. And then also, if you have a WordPress site or you have your own website, we give you the opportunity to build an iframe. We just let you pick the pixel height, the pixel width, and then give you the code to paste on into your website. And from there, people can play your game straight up. They don't need an Alexa device. They don't need a Google Assistant. They don't need a mobile phone. They just need access to that website where it's being hosted. So that is file. And then under edit, there's a copy, paste, duplicate. If you wanted to duplicate like a series of nodes, you could then do that as well. Help has documentation for how it works. How it works is an actual a video documentation on what to expect. We have an FAQ and also how to contact customer service. And then writing guide, because we use a lot of SSML. The writing guide itself, and let's click on this. The writing guide itself will show you how to write for our engine. And then down here in the center, and you could see this was updated 7 months ago. I did it, I built it, and then I let it set for a while. But I thought to myself, this would be a good way to kind of show off the device and how it works. And this is an overall view. I'm actually planning on here in the next few minutes showing you how to build your own interactive story. So in the center here, you have 4 choices. You have workspace, you have characters, and as you can see, I'm using Polly for a lot of my voices. And you can test those characters.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
George
The
the
quick
butler.
brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
The waiter.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Mr. King.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
And these are all characters within the story itself. And then under the media section, actually, you know what? Let's go back here and you can see some of the providers that we have. We have Amazon Polly, Replica, Azure, and you can search for a character out of your characters that you have here. And you can also create characters as well. So if you type the name in, call this guy Mike, you can select what it is. I don't have access to Republica. You can select Azure, and you can select whatever, and then preview.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Pretty cool, huh? So there is just hundreds of voices to choose from. This is just Azure.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
And then Polly, we have the same thing as well. And Polly has like a little bit more of a refined selection, but there is Azure throws everything but the kitchen sink at it. There was tons in there. And then if you want to, you can save it, and then this person will show up. The character that you created, the name that you've given it, will show up inside of the character selection. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and click on media. And right now, just in the event of full disclosure, the system is only able, because it's still in a beta state, to upload audio formats. So audio based files to act as your instead of typing it out. If you had lines of dialogue that you actually wanted to put in there, you can go ahead and upload it to the media tab and then place that into your interactive story. And then finally, settings. There's some debugging with project ID, version ID. We keep track of all of that. And then there is skill ID for your Amazon Alexa stuff, and Google. If being that I don't have anything there, or this story isn't published to the Google platform, I'd have to contact support and say, hey, turn that on for me. And then certification. It has to be approved by us before we can actually go ahead and push it out to those other platforms. So now let's go ahead and just do like a really quick deep dive here into how this works. We saw the overview, but remember, your projects all start with start and they all finish with end. And remember that, because you may get like a weird error message and you're like, what's going on here? And simply put, you may not have an end node in there. So you want to make sure you do that. So for the display, and this is one of the things that I really wanted to point out here. As we said before, we don't yet have the capability. It's coming before the official 1.0 launch of Fabella. But inside of here, if you have an image that is hosted somewhere, you can use that image and have that image displayed onto an Alexa device, a Google Assistant, so on and so forth. And I just got a comment. Somebody said, how much is it? And Lance, it's actually free for a month right now. You get the pro membership if you join the contest, give it a try, create a story. And then after that, and if you win the contest, you can get up to a year free. So the prizes, the first place prize is $500 cash US, a 4th generation Echo Dot, a 4th generation Echo Dot. Oh my God, I forgot. And 1 year of Fabella. Second prize is $250, 6 months of Fabella. And third prize is $100 cash and 3 months of Fabella. So you can also add a title for the images, for the title and subtitle, and those will appear in white text overlaid on the image itself. But like I said, if you have a URL where you're storing images, like maybe it's an S3 bucket through AWS, you just go ahead and paste that right there, and then you're good to go. And then these are all what we call say and hear, right? So we have different dialog boxes. The first of which is for text, and this is the text that will be said. The second is for when the user continues after exiting. So if they come back, if you wanted to say, welcome back to, or sorry, we missed you, or something to that effect. And then the repeat is when the platform cannot recognize the user or does not provide any input. So this is essentially your reprompt. If you've ever designed for Amazon Alexa skills, you'll notice that there's always a reprompt unless you're ending. Then she just usually says something like, hey, thanks for playing the game, and then cuts off. So with that being said, those are those 3 things. And then down here, I can actually change whatever character I want to say that dialogue. So that's pretty cool. So for this, being that it would be the default narrator, because I want them to set the mood for you and to get that going. So after the entire frame is then displayed and all of the bubbles or the communication is read out, you have what is called a hear. And you have different utterances. One utterance for yes and one utterance for no. Now, you can have whatever you want in here. You can have like, what's your favorite color? And one of those be blue. That is completely up to you. I just use yes and no because whenever I was creating this as like a digital book, I thought to myself, what would you ask somebody if they couldn't turn the page? You would ask them yes, or would you like me to turn the page? And the most predominant answer would be yes or no. No meaning, let's go ahead and exit the skill. Thank you for your time. Yes being, let's go on to the next page. So whenever you have these selected, and whenever you see your story, you can go ahead up here and you can verify it and see if there's any errors. And there's some invalid characters here with the way that I'm using the S. And you can also search for through different nodes that are on the entire throughout your entire project. So if you're like, wait a minute, I know I changed it from this word to this word, but I can't remember, but I want to go back and take a look, you can actually type in the word that you thought you had removed to see if it populates anywhere in the story. So if I say Roger Blaze, which is probably a bad example because he's everywhere, it pulls that up. So that is the one node that is titled Roger Blaze. If I put in here bankroll, because I know that he says that, man, this guy must have a huge bankroll because he offers some $500 to find his wife. I know that it's right there. It's in this one, this little node. So you can search everything. Everything is completely searchable, which is really, really nice. So you get your project done. It's complete. You're ready to rock and roll. What do you do next? Well, you click preview.
Roger Blaze, robbing and stealing is one crime, but murder is another, is a comic book that was created by my grandfather in 1949 when he was a kid. His name is Edward George Misk. This is his original artwork and story. Would you like to read the comic? Simply say yes or no.
So you got a couple things here. You could say stop. You could say reset. You could say repeat, so on and so forth. You could say no, which will end the story, or you could say yes.
An old-style 1940s phone rings.
And as you can
Yes,
see,
this is Roger Blaze.
that
What? Okay,
represents.
What's your address?
Let me
127.
go ahead and pause that for a second. It represents what will be shown on the display screen. That's what everybody will see. They'll see it in the web player. They'll see it on their Amazon Alexa devices. They'll soon see it on mobile, and they'll see it on Google Assistant. And that's what it'll look like. And maybe not as faded as that sheet of paper from 1949, but you get the point.
Evan Elm. I will be right there.
Roger quickly arrived at the 127 Elm. This must be the place 127 Elm. Yay, this is it. I'll just ring the doorbell. Would you like to turn the page? Yes or no?
And then down here, again, if you say yes, it's going to turn the page. I'm going to say no this time.
Thanks for listening to this story.
And that's it. And then it closes out. So what if you wanted to do something a little bit different, right? So we went ahead, we went through, we've looked at Detective Roger Blaze. It's cool, it's interesting, but how do I create my own? Well, I clicked my Fabella tab up there. And then I'm actually going to create my own project. We'll call this Once on a Time. Interactive audio experience, and create project. And you'll also get an email as well, prompting you to let you know, like, hey, a project's been started with this name. So just in case if anybody logs into your account or whatnot, whatever registered email is, you'll get a notification saying, hey, is this you? So that's always a good thing. So remember, like I said, it all starts with a start and it all ends with an end. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click. You're going to insert node. Now what you can do here is you can search through very simple nodes. This is say you want the platform to say something. Here we'll let you hear it. End, like I said, will end. Display will show a picture. Then you have global, you have exit global, and you have return. Then you have some more advanced stuff, which is really cool. You have dice rolls, you have modified states, you have a clear, a condition, a switch, a loop, random number, an HTTP request, script, global script, analytics, permissions, monetization, and a custom event. So there is a good bit of customization within this whole thing as well. And then we have one that is just specified to the Alexa platform, which is the reminders. So in order to remind people and send them reminders to their devices if they agree on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click save for this broadcast or for this live stream. And then to connect it, you just drag your line from there to there. And I'm going to say hello once on a time. And I'll put this in all three of my spots. And then it should be set. Now, if you wanted to, you can hop in here and actually listen to this as well. And check it out. Now I have an error here. And the reason why I have an error there is because, again, I have no end. There is no end to this. So, and you can move this around too. Like this is completely free, free form. So you go ahead, you do that. Once upon a time. And now you can add another say node. Oh. Just Control S. There we go. Control S will actually save your project. And then we can preview this as well.
Hello, once upon a time.
See? So we're previewing as well. Output errors are not connected. Cannot or connect the node to the first output. There we go. Okay. I'm going to do that. And then we can do this as well. Oh no. Let me go ahead. Set this up just right. And I'm just going to put my end in there right now. Because if you forget to put the end in there, it will freak out on you. And you'll be like, what is going on here? And that would be the reason why. All right. So we have the end. And we'll type something in here. Put a choice in here. Hello, would you like to go left or right? There you go. And as you can see, those actually went away. Those like red little warning signs went away. So we know that we have a choice to make, left or right. So we're going to want to hear for that. So we do that. And let me just move this over just a little bit here. Now she's going to want to hear, the system itself is going to want to wait to hear something. So you could say left because that's a choice. And then we want to add another utterance. And then we'll say right. You can add like as many as you want under the utterance of left and right. And then like if I say option 1, option 2, there you go. But they will be defined as the first utterance inside of the dialog box. So now that we have that, we'll do another simple node. We'll have her say something. And that'll be the left response. And this will be the right response. And then again, remember, connect your nodes. So if we're up here, you picked left. The end. Okay. And you picked right, the end. And then there you go. And if you just sometimes if you get those warning signs, you just click on them, they'll go away. So let's go ahead. Let's try this thing out. Let's see what happens, huh? We'll verify first. Hooray, no issues. And now we will go ahead and preview it.
Hello, once upon a time. Hello, would you like to go left or right?
So if you go left,
You picked left, the end.
perfect. Now we'll do it again.
Hello, once upon a time. Hello, would you like to go left or right? You picked right, the end.
So there you go. So this little demonstration kind of shows how you can build engaging and interactive stories on Fabella. But the thing you have to remember is that there's so much more to this. I mean, you're talking dice rolls, you're talking session management, you're talking the ability to choose if the character goes left and has a certain amount of speed from a variable that is carried over from another node. Like you can really get into the weeds with this, or you can just create simple stuff. And it's great for people who are beginners, but it's also great for people who are very advanced in computer programming, but just want to create something that is engaging. So with that being said, this is Fabella. And we are having the Fabella Creator Contest, which is set to go off officially on November 10th and will run to November 25th. But if you want to sign up today and go over there and start building, you'll get your month for free and you'll be able to completely design and build today and get that ready to go. So with that being said, as always, my name is Nick. If you have any questions or comments for me, you could reach out to me at nicksaka@wonderword.net, or you can find me on LinkedIn or any other social medias that are out there. In addition to that, for the YouTube live streams, I will be including all of the information for the contest within the description. So you'll have it all there for you to take a look at and to check out. So with that being said, thank you very much for your time. I can't wait to see what you create, and have a great day.